Welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge, a space for clarity, alignment, and intentional living. This season, we're having real conversations about decisions, boundaries, and moving with purpose without the noise. Get comfortable, take a break, and let's move differently. I'm Miss G. Welcome to the lounge. Well, welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Monday, Monday, Monday. We're here on another Monday and we're excited to be here once again. I am just glad to be here. Listen, it's been icy here in Virginia, and so I don't know about some of you. I don't know where you're coming from or where you're watching from, but thankfully, today it finally warmed up a little bit and you can start to see the ice melting. Anybody know what I'm talking about? All right. So, again, welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. Here we are in this space where we're here for real conversations, quiet clarity, and intentional movement. Around here, we don't rush things, we don't pretend, we don't perform. We pause, we reflect, and we choose alignment on purpose. So, in this season, I know you have been following us and you've been hearing some of the things that we've been talking about. And so we're going to continue our series on tonight. So we're going to get ready for that. I want to just say if you can take a moment to like, tag, share, let someone else know that we are live and that we are moving forward in this conversation, in this chat, excited to talk about the great things that's ahead, right? Or even the things that are going on right now. This season is, for the woman who's finished with waiting. They're tired of waiting for the right moment, the right time, and ready to move with some wisdom, some confidence, some peace. And together, we are building this momentum. Together, we are creating our path to our growth, right? So grab your seat, grab your tablet, get your pen, your paper, because, there's some great nuggets that we're going to be sharing on tonight. We are ready to live aligned and move with some intention. Listen, if you don't already know, I'm Miss G, Gwen, Miss G, Finley, Miss G, that's me. I am the author, the visionary startup and book coach, the publisher. motivator, mentor, and I am your host. And you are here in MsG's Ladies Lounge. And if you've been with me through this mini series, The Growth Cycle, then you know we've been walking through three essential stages: planting, protecting, and today we're going to get to that third stage, talking about progressing. Listen, I see you popping on in here. Go ahead, put something in the chat. Let me know you're here. Don't come to people's house and don't say hey. Just come on in and say hello. We love to hear from you and know that you are here. And let me know where you're watching from. All right, so let's just back up a little bit and let's recap what we've already talked about very quickly. In our first episode, we talked about planting with intention, choosing wisely what we give our time and energy to. And then last week, we talked about protecting what we planted, protecting what we put down in the soil and what we are growing through our boundaries, through focus, and through support. But there's a third stage that we don't often talk about. It doesn't get enough attention sometimes. And so that stage is where we're going tonight. Let's see who we've got here with us tonight. Oh, hello, Carlethea. Thank you, Elder Carlethea, for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're glad to have you here with us on tonight. So let's talk about that stage where you started, you've adjusted, you're showing up, but the results are still quiet, right? Tonight, this conversation is for each of you who's been doing the work, but wondering if it's working or if it's even worth it. Maybe you've been building, a small business on your own. Maybe you've been building a ministry. Maybe you've been writing a book. There's so many things that we all plant as we are trying to move our visions forward, right? But sometimes we get to that place where we don't see anything happen. We don't see anything sprouting out of the ground. We don't see any buds. We don't see any leaves. We don't see any branches. And we're wondering, did I plant good? Was my plant on good soil? We talked about the good soil. We talked about, watering it properly. We talked about protecting it. We talked about all of that over the last few weeks. And sometimes we wonder to ourselves, what did we do? Was it worth it, or was I just wasting my time? Well, tonight we're going to talk about that. So settle in, take a breath, and let's get moving in this chat. Okay. All right. So our topic for tonight is trusting the growth that you can't see. Trusting the growth that you can't see. As I said, sometimes, if anybody out there ever planted anything, you put some seeds down in the soil, you put some seeds in the dirt, and you couldn't see anything for a good while, and you waiting, wondering, what is this really going to produce? Because I know I planted the seeds to bring me a small fern or apple tree or tomato plant, but is it actually going to grow anything worthwhile, right? So one of the hardest parts of growth isn't getting started, and it isn't even protecting, as we talked about on the last few weeks, but it's continuing even when things feel slow, quiet, or unchanged. And this is where many of us question ourselves. Not because we think we're incapable, not because we, expected progress, but, we expected progress to happen, uh, you know, next week, but we're looking to see at least some signs of life, right? but we expect progress to look a little bit more than what it does. We expect a little louder than what we hear, right? So tonight, I just want to remind you of some important things. Just because your growth is quiet doesn't mean that it's absent. Keep that in mind. Just because your growth is quiet does not mean that it's absent. And just because your growth hasn't produced the full capacity does not mean it won't grow or it won't happen. So let's go to point number one. Point number one, quiet progress is still progress, right? You hear people talking about it all the time. We feel like, as I said, we're doing nothing. Nothing is really happening. I don't see anything happening. I don't hear anything. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's watching my lives. Nobody's reading my book. Nobody's doing whatever it is I think they should be doing. But do you know that there are people that you don't even know about that is watching you? They're supporting you from the background. They are listening, they are watching, they are sharing, they are talking about what you're doing, and you have no idea. I've written 3 books now. And when I wrote my first book, I thought to myself, the few people that, bought it that I knew, I felt like they were the only ones that bought my book. And I was like, nobody else is buying my book. Every once in a while, I get a little something, saying that someone bought my book on Amazon. But what I didn't know was that there were more ways that people could purchase that I did not know about. And so I was getting discouraged, thinking nobody's buying, nobody is paying attention. I wrote my second book, excuse me, and it almost seemed the same way. But eventually I ran into people, or people were inboxing me, people were telling me, "Oh, I bought your book. I love what you're doing. I see what you're doing." You never know who's watching, even if they don't actually buy the book, but they see you, they acknowledge you. And so even when we don't see something coming out of the dirt, growing, the plant look like it's getting bigger and bigger, you'd be surprised how many people actually see you, right? And just don't focus on that one moment. There are more moments to come. There are more times to come. So we live in a world that celebrates all the visible results, but real growth happens internally first. So even if they don't buy the book, the fact that they have acknowledged that you exist and that you are doing something, and they recognize what you're doing, that is growth right there. Anybody know what I'm talking about? That's growth right there. We might not think that it's growth, but it is growth. And eventually, those same individuals will find a place in what you're doing where they can say, "Hey, I want to know more. I want to get more. I want to be more involved in what you're doing." Um, but real growth often happens internally first. So the first part is taking ourselves and learning how to accept the moments that we are in. We talked even during our first show of this year about alignment. We talked about how we even need to understand within ourselves the things that are happening. Learning how to um, learning how to take yourself from being busy and Apostle Hyman, I'll shout her out today. She said something last night and I wrote it down, but I don't want to find it now. But I believe she said we're busy doing instead of being. Just be. Just allow God to do his work in you and stop trying to do more than you need to be doing, right? How many of you have been guilty of that? I know I have. Trying to help God out, trying to do more than I need to be doing, right? But sometimes we need to learn how to just be and just allow that time for the growth to take place. Allow that time for the internal work to take place. So here's what that looks like: learning how to think differently, learning how to think differently. The Bible tells us that so a man thinks, so is he. When we think wrong, we cause more problems than when we just learn how to think on things the way that we have been assigned to think. Right? We talk about our vision. We know that the vision comes from God. So now we need to figure out, okay, I don't have to do all the work. God has a blueprint, He has a plan. Now I need to focus on what it is that He wants me to do. I need to pray about the vision. I need to study the things that I need to study to make sure that I am in right alignment, right? So these are part of the things that has to happen eternally. Responding with more intention, not responding to what we see, but responding to what we want to see, right? And that means it may not look like it's right now at the height of whatever it is that we are doing, but responding as if we are, we are successful. Doesn't mean you're going big headed, doesn't mean you're getting conceited and above yourself, but knowing and being peaceful in the fact that what God promised, He is going to perform it. It's going to happen. It's going to take place. And so I'm already excited about the end result, right? Making better decisions quietly. Sometimes we tell all of our business. Sometimes we tell all of our business to all the wrong people. Sometimes we talk too much about the negative stuff. Sometimes we say things and make decisions and we want to tell everybody about a new decision we made. That's not always the way to go. We need to learn how to make better decisions and do it quietly. Y'all mighty quiet over there in the chat. Let me know if you're catching what I'm saying, if this is making any sense to you. And then our favorite that we've been talking about all through this process, and even in our first show of the season for alignment, saying no without guilt. We have to preserve ourselves as well. We have to preserve our mindset. We have to preserve our strength and our energy. And so we don't need to give every piece of us to everybody else. And then what do we have left when it's time and when we need it? What do we have left to give to those who are in need of what we have? We've given out everything that we have, and now we have no strength left. Thank you, Elder Carlethia. So this is the way it looks when the growth is internal first. All right. These changes don't always get applause, but they do matter. And if you're showing up differently than you did before, then you know something has to be working, right? All right, we got to get through here because I've got to get on this prayer call. All right. So ask yourself, what has shifted in me, even if nothing around me has changed yet? Ask yourself that. What is it that has shifted inside of me, even if nothing else around me has changed? All right. That's progress. All right. Point two, comparison interrupts growth. So, one of the fastest ways to abandon your process is by comparison. Now, a lot of us have been guilty of comparison. We see somebody over here with a better looking platform than we have. We want to see how we can, what's wrong with my platform? How can I make my platform like their platform? But your assignment is not their assignment. Your calling is not their calling. Your audience is not their audience. Your gift is not their gift, right? So that comparison will interrupt our growth. And in the middle of that, we make ourselves become distracted. And instead of being able to continue what we are supposed to be doing, we are moved away to someone else's vision instead of our own. So now, one of the fastest ways to abandon your process is to compare it to someone else's. But when you measure your pace against someone else's timeline, you lose trust in your own timeline. You lose trust in your own growth process. You lose trust in the things that you've put all of your hard work in. And now you start to see failure because you stop giving the attention to what you were giving the attention to, that you were growing. All right. So you don't know how they started. You don't know what their process was to even get to where they are. You don't know what they had to go through to get to where they are. You don't know what they're carrying and what they even had to already walk through. It's not competitive. Growth is personal. So you have to look at what you need. When I was growing up, I did not need what my sister needed. I didn't need what my brother needed. I needed what I needed in order for me to grow. All right. And when you rush to catch up, you often skip the very lessons meant to stabilize you. So here's a little reminder: your pace is what is protecting you. That's a good one. I hope you got your pen and paper. I hope you're writing that down. Your pace is what is protecting you, keeping you from going too fast, going too far, being too far behind. Stay on your pace, not trying to do what everybody else is doing. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm talking to everybody that needs this just like I do. All right, so point three: consistency matters more than momentum. All right, momentum feels good, but consistency is what sustains our growth. Momentum, it comes, it goes, but consistency stays. And it looks like showing up even when you're not inspired. Now, if you're like me, there have been times when you had to just do what it is that you were doing because you said you were going to do it, or because you started it and you know that that's the process to keep it going, but you're no longer really inspired. But being consistent is the thing that will help you to maintain that momentum and that growth. Even with my show, I've had so many struggles with consistency, but not because I don't know what it is that I want to do. I know what it is what I want to do, but I started looking the wrong way. I started trying to do things the way somebody else was doing it, or the way I thought maybe this will work better. But I had to say to myself, come back to what you originally had in your spirit to do, and do what it is that you were designed to do. So, honoring your commitments quietly, continuing without constant confirmation. This is what consistency is all about. You don't need to always feel motivated to be consistent. Sometimes you got to get on that cycle of just doing it because you know you need to do it, not always because you feel motivated to do it. But you know that you want a result. You know that you're planting something and you want it to grow. So sometimes you just have to do it, even if you don't feel committed to do it. Hey, Linda, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So, this is how many of us have been, tricked because we started thinking, hey, I don't feel like, this is really something that's gonna, that's got me all excited and bubbly. But that's not the point. You may not always feel that way. You should be happy about your own vision. You should be, pleased about the vision that you have. But there may be days, there may be times you may have personal conflicts. You may have personal things going on in your life, and you really don't want to think about this, but you need to be consistent. Why? Because someone is depending on you to show up, and you know what you're growing, and you know that you need to continue in order for your growth to take place. All right. You need to be and feel committed. That is the important thing. Being committed and being motivated is two different things. You may not be motivated, but be committed. All right. So small repeated actions will always allow you to outgrow sporadic bursts of effort. You know, you see people, and you see them to what they say, here today, gone tomorrow, and then they're back another day. That's those small sporadic outbursts. But we want to stay consistent. We want to stay on the path, that even though it may not look like it's really getting where we want it to go, stay there, stay consistent. All right. So our last point: trust is an active choice. Trust is not passive, it's an active choice. It's a decision to stay aligned even when the results are delayed. Mm. You know the saying, delayed but not denied. You got to trust the process. You got to make the decision to trust that process, right? You yeah, be the turtle, not the rabbit, right? Trying to get on across that road and get hit by a car. Then you see him laying out, and tonight he's somebody's dinner. No, no, we ain't trying to be rabbits too. So sometimes you have to just take your time, right? Right. So we are at that point where we have to learn how to pace ourselves a little bit better, not try to beat someone else out doing it. As I said, the apostle said on last night, we're just busy doing instead of being. Just be. Just allow God to work through you, work in you. And yeah, I'm talking about it because this is what even the visionary is all about. Letting God lead us, letting God give us. His timing is everything, Kim. Thank you so much. His timing is everything. And I put his in front of it. Timing is everything, but his timing is everything. And he says, I know the thoughts, I know the plans, I know the future that I have expected for you, right? So don't give up on them. Don't give up on the process, but stay the course, as they say, stay the course. It will get better. All right, we got to get through this because I'm late for my prayer call. All right. So trust sounds like I'm going to keep going. I don't need proof yet. I believe this is taking root. Saying those things, you might want to write that down and say them over and over. I'm going to keep going. I don't need proof yet. I believe this is taking root. And every time you choose not to quit prematurely, you strengthen your confidence. Now, I know that's to be true. Because listen, there's been times, as I said, that I was ready to give up. But the more I went, the strength came back. I was able to get more excited all over again about the same vision, the same dream. that I planted and I've been watering, and it looked like it wasn't growing, looked like nobody was paying attention. And it doesn't matter to me who's paying attention either, right? I mean, it matters who's paying attention, but it doesn't matter to me who's paying attention. All that matters is those that need to get what I've got to give them is getting it. God's timing is everything. Don't give up on don't give up on him or the process. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to keep going. I don't need that proof yet. I believe that it is taking root. Yes, these are the things that we have to say to ourselves. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and we have to point and tell ourselves, you don't need to be rushing. You need to slow down. You need to pace yourself, right? These are the things that we need to do in order to make sure that we are not trying to go beyond, before, or staying lagging back behind because we're afraid of what it looks like. But every time you choose not to quit prematurely, you strengthen your confidence. So growth doesn't need you to rush, it needs patience with intention. And I'm going to add this one more point. Most of all, trust God. Trust God. They used to sing a song, I trust in God wherever I may be, right? I trust God. I believe that what He has for me, it will come to pass. I won't have to go out and try to sell myself to the point where I don't even know who I am anymore. God is going to take care of me. He's going to give me the wisdom. He's going to give me the know-how. He's going to give me the strength. He's going to give me the design. He's going to give me, the pathway. He's going to give me whatever I need. Now, that's not to say don't work while you wait. You know what they say, work while you wait, right? Sometimes you got to do some things, but most of all, trust God. All right. So we are here at the end. And, we often put a lot of trust in systems and outlines and other people's ways of doing things, other people's opinions, and even their counsel. But ask yourself, what does God say about this? What does He say about me? Where does He want me to go next? What does He want me to do next? This is how you trust God. Talking to Him, finding out what He wants for you, and listening with intention, listening, right? All right, so here's a reflection. Think about one area where you feel discouraged because the results aren't visible yet, because we have them. What's one area you feel discouraged because you don't see the results yet, right? Now ask yourself, what has changed beneath the surface? Or what habits have I worked on to improve? What habits have I taken inventory of and I work to make sure that I improve myself instead of doing those habits? What boundaries are holding me back? Just remember, you don't have to overlook the roots just because the fruit is not visible yet. Don't overlook it. It's there. It's about to sprout. You're about to see the branches. You're about to see the buds. You're about to see the fruit. You are about to see it. There's life in your seed. So keep planting, keep watering, keep nurturing, keep protecting, keep trusting, and keep growing. All right, that's it. That's all I got. I hope that you have enjoyed what we have shared on tonight. I hope that this has opened up your mind and your heart to inspire you to keep planting and not give up, to keep watering, Keep protecting, keep nurturing what it is that you have planted, and trust God. We're in the growth cycle. This is a growth cycle. We have to grow in order to be successful. We cannot be successful and being stunted in our growth. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much. And you all go follow Linda Randall. She is an author, and she has her great books entitled oh gosh, my brain, the lumberjack song. Make sure that you go and follow her or look those books up um, on Amazon. And she's also working on some other great projects, so make sure that you follow her and stay close with her. Yes, Cherie, reflection questions. There's life in your seed. Keep planting, keep nurturing, keep growing, and keep going. Listen, I thank you all for joining me on tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know we said this is three episodes of this season. Next week, I want you to join me back here. I've got some good news for you. I've got something to share with you, and we're going to wrap up this series very well in a nice little bow. And then we're going to move forward because we believe that not only do we plant, not only, but there comes a time that we reap the harvest, right? So we've got to move to the next level. We can't just stay stuck either. We can't just keep sitting there looking at the dirt and watching the leaves grow, and they're growing so tall and so big, and we're not doing what we need to do to give them the life that they need. So let's come back next week. Join me here. As I said, I've got some good news to share with you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight. And if you like, you've got all the ways down on the bottom to follow me. You can go visit my website, gwenfinley.org. Listen, I've got some new stuff over there on my website. Go visit, check it out, gwenfinley.org. We've got new services that we are providing. We've got new coaching packages that are coming, but you can kind of get a glimpse of them. We've got new events that are coming. Make sure that you go on over to gwenfinley.org. If you need to reach me, you can reach me by email at newgpraiseproductions@gmail.com. And of course, you can always watch us again right here on Facebook or YouTube at Miss G's Ladies Lounge VIP. We changed it up a little bit, so everything is under Miss G's Ladies Lounge VIP now. So make sure that you go even on Instagram and follow us. We're getting ready to bring Instagram alive. And of course, if you would like to sow a seed or be a blessing, listen, there's never a bad time to sow a seed. So if you've been getting content that has been helping you throughout your process, feel free to sow a seed. Cash App, $ New G Praise 63, New G Praise 63. All right, and in the right corner on the top, there is the QR code. If you would like to set up a call to find out if we have a match and we want to work together, there's the code to my calendar where you can actually book a call. Now, don't book a call if you ain't serious, because I'm only talking to people that's serious about what they're doing. All right, y'all, have a great night. Be safe, stay warm, stay dry. Love you.